the first bank that had opened was Chase National Bank,
Hmm.
which is Chase Manhattan with NBE. And when I went in, I wanted to be in the credit department because that's what I know.
Yeah.
Feasibility studies, but you took all that stuff in economics. You thought you
But
were
you
going,
you thought you could.
and I was offered a teller's job.
Wow,
So I
really?
started off as a
So
teller.
you've done everything in every bank, then you know the whole
Absolutely.
way.
So
That's wonderful, though.
it is
Yeah.
unbelievable. I think when you understand the bottom of
Yeah.
it and you work your way up, the amount of knowledge you get is beyond. And that foundation, I mean, it's throughout your career, you're going to link it back to
Exactly.
something that you learned.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you are very
Yeah.
superficial because you have taken and I very much respect family businesses when they do not put their kids directly
Yeah.
into the positions of board members or whatever,
Mm.
but having them work
Yeah.
and then they work their way up.
Definitely.
It makes such a
It
big
makes a
difference.
difference. Absolutely.
I remember when they had promised that they would take me to the credit course that they do. When they skipped me, I did not stand still. And I think this is where I always tell any person, if you don't ask, you don't get. You have to ask. So what did I ask? I wanted to meet the managing director of the bank. I was only 22, yani, can you imagine? And I happen to like very much knowing the secretaries and the why, because number one, I have a lot of respect for them. They take so much of load off everybody, and so I'm friends. So I called the secretary of the managing director, who was a foreigner, and I said, I want to meet the. And she said, you want to meet? I said, yes, I want to meet. And he said, I mean, that's the teller, huh?
Yeah.
And so she said, wait until afternoon today. I'll call you sometime, but don't go home. And I go up, meet this Allah yarhamu Abbasi, an American Palestinian, I think. And he sat there and I said, yes. And when I started talking, he asked me, talk to me about yourself. Just very much like what you are doing right now is talk to me.
Yeah.
And I talked. And then he said, so you want to leave? I said, yes. If I'm not,
So you went to complain that you were
yeah.
that they didn't take you on the
And they
course,
already started.
and the
So,
course had
so I'm
already
going to
begun.
leaving.
Okay. So you wanted to leave the bank
Yeah.
completely. Very dramatic, Naveen.
And then he said, only the second day I go in and there is this memo that puts me in the credit department as administrative assistant. And there wasn't even, there's always places and for you to be there. And he put me there with the international team, very foreigner.
So you didn't do the course, but you learned
Yeah, I
by
took the course the
working
second time.
later.
My daughter was 3 months when I started the credit course. And I remember it's a very tough credit course. We were 32 people who entered. Only 17 of us were
How long was the course?
almost 6 months.
Wow.
And
Very intense.
in every single time we had a test, you had to get 70%. And I remember it was the last credit course, CC5.
You remember, these are obviously formative. It was
Absolutely.
very formative for you. You remember the
Uh,
details.
he would say, if Naveen did the homework, then everybody should have done it.
That's true.
My daughter was three
Yeah,
months old,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you can imagine.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
never had a live-in maid ever,
Wow, Naveen, that's
ever.
very impressive.
And it's
And what was your family's reaction to you juggling all this? Your mother, your mother-in-law, were they supportive? Did they understand it?
my mother-in-law was very instrumental. Honestly, I think if it hadn't been for her, may she rest in peace. I don't think I would have probably been able to, because I would go in the morning with my daughter, in her basket. She would actually be downstairs, take the basket, but I had to be home at 4. And I think and then even when she went, when we went to the kindergarten at the age of 2, and it was exactly the same. So but as you say, it's time management. Time management. It's all about time management.
Yeah, yeah. And you sacrifice certain things. You probably had no social life, but
Absolutely.
you can't have everything.
And that's one of the things that, when any of the ladies work with me, I always say before they get married, when you get married, don't just stay home.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I think it gives more strength for the woman to be independent. Yani I mean, the relying on the husband or even the father or whatever is something that is not.
It's not healthy.
No, it was after a revolution that I started to create. I didn't even know that's venture capital. Yani, فاهمة؟ يعني even the names
The
I choose, the
terminology.
terminology comes in after I start. So I was working with small and medium enterprises before I got to know what SMEs are. Entrepreneurship before I know what entrepreneurship means. So it's always out of passion to work with young people and young companies.
And tell me, you are someone who never did a master's.
I did what I
You did
did.
executive programs, right?
Exactly. So instead of, I started off the master's, did my 9 months at AUC, and then I had to do the thesis. But then I started the credit course, and the credit course was so difficult, is I thought that it was worth nothing and never went back. So and I'm
Yeah.
and I never did.
And you learned on the job anyway. What you were
Yeah.
doing is so hands-on that
But YPO filled in a lot. This is where I did everything you can imagine on the learning side. I didn't get to do the social part because my ex-husband wasn't really very
yeah.
social. And so I always
But go
did
ahead.
so I did everything that had to do with the education.
Yeah.
And so I took after 5 years, you're an alumni of London Business School. Did 12 times.
Wow.
And
And each program is about a week or 10 days,
yes,
something like
well,
that.
it's a
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
And the same thing with Harvard. 9 years, you take the alumni. I did 15 or 16. So
Wow.
it didn't mean anything for me. It's just not just the شهادة يعني
Certificate.
certificate. It meant more to me learning.
Yeah.
I got cancer in 2017, which was very strange how I got to know.
But you got sick
I got sick.
during the separation then,
Yes.
before the divorce.
And he's always been my friend, and he's somebody I've known since I was 17. So you can imagine,
Of
yani.
course.
And to my sisters, and I did not tell my family because to them he's the boy that they have.
And he is the older brother for them.
Absolutely.
You're the eldest girl. He's like their
So I
brother.
put this all into, so only my kids knew. And any other complications don't go through.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, I think in 2017, I went to stay with my daughter because she had a paper to submit.
And your daughter's an academic now, right?
Yeah, and to sit with her son and everything. And every day we go out. She says, "Niveen, you're not well." And I say, "It's my husband says it's because of my weight, my weight." By the end of the 3 weeks, she said, "Niveen, no, there's something wrong." I said, "I don't think so. It's my weight. It's definitely my weight." She said, "We'll go to the doctor." I said, "I'm in France. I don't speak French. Let's go to London. I can speak the language and see a doctor there." Called one of my.
Did you feel anything?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
At all. It's as though when they told me cancer, nothing. Until today, they make fun of me.
Yeah.
And you seem to be the only person who listens to these things. I say, you know what? We have excellent healthcare that I would have never imagined. I had only done my international healthcare a year earlier. Imagine. يعني طبعا I was lucky because I saw what happened to my
Yeah.
father بتاع, and I had decided I will do my
Yeah.
international one. And you know what? I really think, as they told us in hospital, 50% of your يعني health comes from you believing that you're going to be okay.